4:24 in the West Coast afternoon. It is the 17th of October, 2023. To Mr. David Pakman. We gotta talk. Caught your replaying of the video that's still bouncing out there on the internet regarding old Vivek. Yeah, it was a good shot for that woman taking him down left and right, and he still did his fast stance on her. Still trying to save and salvage his campaign there, but what you keep forgetting one thing. Guys like him are allowed because Constitution. Until Congress gets off its dead ass and gets its mind put back into its collective body and get an amendment process going to make some clarifications of our next Commander in Chief. We're stuck with what we've got. Let me remind you what we're dealing with here. I assume, and I'm assuming a great deal from you, sir. Who am I? I am the Weaver John C. of Rosamond, California. I refer you over to the U.S. Constitution. You will notice on Article 2, Section 1, there is a paragraph in there. Fifth paragraph, first line stating, and I quote, no person except a natural born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of the President. Neither shall any person to be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 and have been 14 years a resident within the state, actually within the United States. Nowhere does it ever say that foreign born are authorized, that guys with money are authorized or not authorized. And the ones with a big, fast talking mouth, either authorized or not authorized. It does not state this. But we have to go through the Constitution of the United States, what it does allow. If you're 35, if you're native born, I mean, that's about it. You got to be a native born in the United States, either in the territories or in the main country itself. You have to be natural born, and you have to be at the age of 35. And 14 years a resident within the state of United States of the country. How does that grab you? But this is what the Constitution says in the section of Article 2. Now, unfortunately, it allows gas bags and the Trumplicant Party and anything else related to it to run for office. There is nothing preventing it in the amendment sections. Not even in the entire article. Hell, even Article 3 doesn't say anything regarding it. So how does that grab us? Well, it doesn't grab us fine because we don't like the people we keep voting in. And the problem is we keep voting them in, don't we? It's not my job. It's not my problem, is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Is it my job and my problem? If I am a U.S. citizen, am I going to start griping and grumbling about this? Am I supposed to? But I'm supposed to because you folks keep saying so. Apparently, we all keep saying so, but we're not doing so. Check in the first 10 amendments in here. Usually it's the Bill of 10, we call it Bill of Rights. But nowhere does it say in the first 10 that we are actually able to not allow an orange gas bag in the office. And neither does the other amendments. How strange. Because if we happen to figure it out back in the 13 colonies, we never did think about anything like this because there was nothing else to think about like this. We were still coming off dealing with French, who are our allies, and we have to make Great Britain, or actually England, a trading partner again. And they still have to burp their ass until 1812. And we still had debts to pay off. We had our own problems during that time. We did not think of it, but we did think about having additional amendments being put into the U.S. Constitution by a process. And this process is a lengthy one. And it's going to be up to the 50 states to decide if they want to get these changes in office. Otherwise, we're stuck with what we've got. Put it bluntly. Now, surely you have studied U.S. government. Maybe gotten yourself a book, a We the People, and actually went through the damn thing. Get a gist of the U.S. history, the process of how the Constitution works, how the state constitutions work. Each state has its own little constitution of sorts on how they're working and they're processing. It's a lot of them, isn't it? I hadn't studied any of them. I studied a little bit of my own state constitution over here, only when it's needed. But the federal is the biggest one on Earth. And everybody thinks they don't understand about the federal government. But apparently they don't. Because if we're listening to the flim flam guy, Vivek Swami, yeah, I screwed up his name because I screwed up his name. I don't take the con man. Fast talking and not articulate enough. Oh yeah, he can be very articulate. He reminds me of a certain actor out there who was a motor mouth back in the 80s and 90s. In the commercials back then. You could probably YouTube it somewhere in there. Find his schmuck. No, he's not a schmuck. But he was a rapid guy. Just he was very famous of talking like that. Made a career out of it too. Vivek could probably do the same damn thing if we got back into the commercials of a fast talking schmuck who. The problem is the people are catching very bits and pieces of his mouth. As the New Hampshire woman was stating in the video. So Vivek's, that's his gimmick. He figures people are stupid, so let's treat him as stupid. Except when if he comes across an occasional voter out there who's totally armed and ready to disarm the guy verbally. And therefore he takes offense over the damn thing. Why? He panics, he pivots, and then he starts rapidly talking. Again. His only weapon is his mouth. But it takes a sharp ear and a sharp mind to pick this one out. So apparently, she's going to be the only holdout, or maybe there's a few more over there that hadn't bothered to be put on video to tear this guy apart. Because everyone's just sitting there going, and just not paying attention to the battle going on. So again, in my videos, I've stated before and I'll state it again, I blame the damn voters. Our country, our democracy depends upon an educated and illiterate people because they have to know what the hell they're getting themselves into. It's just saying, oh, well, I voted because you voted because you voted. Well, it just seemed like a good idea. Without even knowing what's at stake. Because I tell you, what keeps being posted around is not the educated, it's the dumber than, well, what can I say? What are the other words I could say for it? Now, I know it takes education. Now, you just go to a library and read. If you can find one that's open, or have the librarians available to show you where you need to get educated at in a library. If you start closing down libraries, guess what? We get more and more of the dumber, and that's why we get more and more of the con men in government. Because that's what they want. They want the dumbest people they can get. The more dumber they are, they're not that intelligent, are they? It's the ones that could tear people apart. Those are the ones you have to watch out for because they point out the problems, but then they become the problem because all the other ones who thought they knew better feeling that inadequate. Why is that? Because unfortunately, either they didn't have the opportunity or they didn't choose the option. Choose. Choice. Again, I blame the voters. Democracy works if we make it work, if we allow it to work, if we have the people to understand it on how it works. But if they chose not to, then what am I supposed to do? I can keep hammering on them all day. They're dumber than dog shit. And I have to say that. I have to say that. Because they keep demonstrating this left and right. However, very few clips will keep showing people tearing these people apart left and right. But we have social media replete with Karen encounters out there. Programmed algorithms of the social media engines out there to channel us. We're worried about the damn corporate media channeling our ass. We still have social media out there with their programming algorithms still channeling us here. And I blame the people for it. I don't blame the programmers. I blame the people for allowing this shit to happen. Now they're watching. They're going to bitch and gripe about it. Where the hell are they? Brainwashed. Brain dead. It's no wonder people don't like books that have creativity, that actually have intelligence, that actually have a bit of truth buried in the kernels of the fiction. 1984 scares the hell out of people. What's even worse is there's a few others. Fahrenheit 451, Brave New World, caste systems. Oh my God, how about that one? The elitists hate that one. That's for damn sure. Catcher in the Rye, I was never a big man of. I hadn't even come across Huckleberry Finn until I was about 2 or 3 years ago. I read it. Strongest piece of work that Samuel Clemens ever created. And people at the time were going crazy over the damn thing. And these days, people hardly ever know the damn thing. But it's still relevant to this day. I'd never read or seen the movie To Kill a Mockingbird, however. I should. But I had read 1984 and I didn't like it. Well, maybe barely remembered it. I actually did cover it in school. A Brave New World? Oh. You know what ticks me off in that book? Besides being put into a caste system, being born genetically out of a damn test tube, being forced, fed in that genetic test tube of all the stuff we're supposed to know. And then when you're an adult, you get to have drugs all the time. Soma. Let's have a Soma party. Let's waste out. Let's be stupid. Let's take drugs. I kept reading sci-fi books, and I kept reading some of the other fiction books because they were interesting enough. When you start seeing patterns of what the writers were trying to tell you, oh boy, you gotta love fiction writers. You gotta love these guys because they can weave things into stories that piss people off left and right. You ever heard of the story about the economics of a hitman? Give me a second on that one. Sorry about that. I was going through the archive.org and I found the book by Mr. John Perkins, The Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Ooh, scary. And only because of this particular book that I had to read for a political science class. And if you actually read this particular book, Mr. Pakman, it would probably make you question things too. And this is what a political science professor was trying to teach us students, both of the teenage to the 20s, all the way through the adulthood. You gotta love books, my friend. You gotta love being educated. But how do you educate the entire population of the United States unless you're going to be forcing them into it? And when you start to take apart something like the Department of Education, they do not regulate curriculum. They do not regulate books. Unlike the Trumplicants like Vivek and everybody else who tries to brainwash people into that, claiming that this particular department is making kids programmed. No, they're not programmed. Never have been. They never have been. And here's the thing about it. It's usually the states are they're the ones that have to decide what kind of curriculum that's being taught to the kids. So in certain states, I still blame the voters for that one. They want it, they got it, so now they're screwed with that one. How's that grab you? It doesn't grab me fine because it just makes me more and more upset at the voters because they wanted this. They wanted this. They made the choices, basically what was going on. So yes, I do blame the people. I blame them so damn much it's not even funny. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't even want to, you know, have anything to do with them. So I have to demonstrate that to people, even on my own videos. My videos, Mr. Pacman, I deal with my own emotional issues of the things I've gone through, my experiences I share. It's my own self therapy, and I've had this for a few years since losing people I love. Grief does a lot of things, and it changes a person into so many ways that it's hard to deal with. So I have to find an outlet for my grief. So talk about my life, my pain, my joys, my sorrows, the people I've lost. Take a look at the cabinet. What do you notice? Not exactly sure. Well, you've already noticed it, didn't you? If you got such good powers of observation, try using critical thinking. What did you just notice? Okay. You notice that there's a picture, actually two pictures, and you notice that there's something in the top shelf. Brian used to work on that one. And what's happening at this point is I am showing each time I do a video with this kind of camera angle of what this is all about. It takes critical thinking skills and observation to understand a few things. You've already seen the picture. It's right in front of you. What else do you see? What's on the wall? Now, what's that tell you? I've been at it for several years. I'm 57. I had to take a little time off because of dealing with the emotional trauma of having family gone. Mom, 2013. Family friend and surrogate mother back in 2014 to no 15 actually. Family pet 16. Big brother 18. All within a decade. Earlier on, I've dealt with friends, I've dealt with family, I've dealt with pets. Didn't affect me as badly. I'm sliding into my mode for the video here. I had stability because I had support. Lose the support, you got a shaky veneer, a shaky facade. Looks worse than a studio tour. That's me. I just wanted to explain who and what I am. And yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot from me still. Things actually do tick me off. I usually do respond. Takes me a while. I'm still going to the college. I'm still taking 2 classes at a time for the last several years. It's a way for me to keep focusing and not being stressed out as much. I already get enough stress as it is dealing with haunts, not of actual ghosts, but of memories and of triggers. When you lose a lot of people and you lose a lot of your support and you have no family and friends after that, well, critical thinking, sir. Good luck on your channel. I heard about Fox. Let's just say that Google and YouTube and other social media platforms will have a problem with me in my mouth. First Amendment only can protect me so much, but it's almost like a leash. Somebody's got to yank, keep me back in line.